Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to look at something that is absolutely crucial to every single one of us. We're talking about our nation's biggest, most important rulebook, the Constitution of Zimbabwe. I want you to think of Zimbabwe like one giant family, and this rulebook, well, it tells us exactly how this family works. Today, we're just focusing on one specific part of it, Chapter 3. And don't worry, I'm going to break this all down into plain, everyday English so that absolutely anyone can understand their rights and their place in this beautiful country.
So let's dive right in. Have you ever actually wondered what makes someone a true official member of the Zimbabwean family? You know, just like any family has mothers, fathers, brothers, and sisters, our great nation has its own members too. We call them citizens. But who actually gets to say who is a citizen and who isn't? Well, the law spells it out for us. Our coat of arms is the ultimate symbol of our nation's power and unity. And the Constitution, it is the supreme law of Zimbabwe. That basically means it's the absolute highest law in the land. Whatever it says, goes, no exceptions. And Chapter 3 of this supreme law specifically outlines who is a citizen in very plain, simple terms. It literally leaves zero room for guessing. All right, let's kick things off with Section 1. What exactly is a citizen?
Okay, so according to Section 35 of the Constitution, being a citizen just means you are a recognized, official member of the Zimbabwean family. And the law clearly states there are exactly 3 ways you can get this membership. You can be a citizen by birth, by descent, or by registration. We're going to explore each of these 3 paths in just a second. But first, let's talk about what being a citizen actually means for your day-to-day life.
Moving right along to Section 2, your rights and duties. You know, being part of any family is totally a two-way street. According to Section 35, subsection 3, the country acts kind of like a protective parent, giving you certain rights. So what exactly does Zimbabwe owe you? First off, protection from the state, no matter where you are. Second, the right to get a passport and travel documents so you can easily cross borders. And third, you have the absolute right to get birth certificates and identity documents like your national ID card. Those papers are your ultimate proof that you belong here.
But remember that two-way street we just talked about? Well, here is what you owe the family in return. You'll find this in Section 35, subsection 4. Your duties are to be fiercely loyal to Zimbabwe, to actually observe and follow the Constitution, and to show respect to our national flag and our beautiful national anthem. And finally, you have a duty to do your best to defend Zimbabwe and its sovereignty. Just like you'd step up to protect your own home and family, you got to help protect our national home.
Okay, next up is Section 3, becoming a citizen by birth. Section 36 explains citizenship by birth, and it is super straightforward. If a baby is born anywhere in Zimbabwe, let's say in a small rural village clinic or a massive hospital in the city, and at the exact time they're born, either their mother or their father is a Zimbabwean citizen, boom, that baby is a citizen by birth. And get this, even if the parents aren't citizens, if any of the baby's grandparents were Zimbabwean citizens by birth or descent, the baby is still a citizen. It's all about the deep roots of your family tree. Now here is a rule from Section 36, subsection 3 that I just think is absolutely beautiful and so compassionate. What happens if a young child is found wandering completely alone inside Zimbabwe's borders? If that child looks to be under 15 years old and literally no one knows who their parents are or what country they're from, our Constitution says we do not turn them away. That child is legally presumed to be a Zimbabwean citizen by birth. The family simply takes them in.
Which brings us to Section 4, becoming a citizen by descent. This is covered in Section 37. So what does descent actually mean? Basically, it's all about your bloodlines. If you were born in a neighboring country, or honestly anywhere else in the world, you can still rightfully belong to the Zimbabwean family as long as you have Zimbabwean roots. But there are some very specific rules you have to follow to claim this. Let's walk through the exact steps you need. Step 1, the person is born outside of Zimbabwe. Step 2, at the time they were born, either a parent or a grandparent was a Zimbabwean citizen. But pay attention here, because this is the most crucial part. Step 3, to officially become a citizen by descent, that birth absolutely must be registered back here in Zimbabwe according to our local laws. You literally cannot skip that final step. You have to let the family know the child has arrived.
All right, let's look at Section 5, becoming a citizen by registration.
This path is found in Section 38. Now, this one is meant for people who weren't born into the family, but who make Zimbabwe their home and really want to be full, respected members of our community. It's an official, legal application process to join the nation. So, who gets to apply for this? The law actually gives us 3 really clear examples. First, if a person from another country marries a Zimbabwean and they stay married for at least 5 years. Second, if someone has lawfully and continuously lived in Zimbabwe for at least 10 years. Imagine someone from across the border moving to a local village, working hard, and staying legally for a whole decade, they can totally apply. And finally, if a Zimbabwean citizen adopts a child who isn't a citizen yet, that adopted child is fully entitled to be registered as a Zimbabwean. Now let's tackle Section 6, keeping your citizenship safe. Sections 39 and 40 deal with a very common fear people have: losing their place in the nation. Just how safe is your citizenship? Well, I want to reassure you right now. Some folks get really worried that if they gained their citizenship through marriage and then sadly the marriage ends, they're going to be sent away. But the Constitution is crystal clear here. You do not lose your Zimbabwean citizenship just because you get a divorce or if your spouse passes away. A broken marriage absolutely does not mean you get kicked out of the Zimbabwean family. However, let's be real, there are a few times the family can actually kick you out. The legal word for this is revocation, and it's in Section 39. You can lose your citizenship if you got it by fraud, which basically means you lied or hid major facts during your application. Another way to lose it is if Zimbabwe is at war and you unlawfully trade with or help the enemy. Lying to get in or betraying the country when things get tough, those are massive offenses that can cost you your membership for sure. But listen, even with those strict rules, there is this incredibly humane golden rule right there in Section 39, subsection 3. Our government will never take away your citizenship if doing so would leave you stateless. Now, stateless just means you have absolutely no country in the world to call home. Our law guarantees that Zimbabwe will never, ever leave a person without a home if they truly have nowhere else to go. As we start to wrap up our look at Chapter 3, I really want you to take this simplified quote from Section 35, subsection 2, to heart. It states that all Zimbabwean citizens are equally entitled to the rights of citizenship and equally subject to the duties. It seriously doesn't matter if you live in a loud, bustling city or a quiet rural farming village. It doesn't matter if you are rich or poor. Under this Constitution, every single citizen stands on completely equal ground. So, we've seen exactly what Zimbabwe owes you and what you owe Zimbabwe in return. Here is my final question for you today. If this nation is truly your home, are you acting like a builder of the family, or are you just treating it like a guest house? Remember, your Constitution is your rulebook, and truly understanding it, that is your power. Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer today.